Additionally, Hunter, during his testimony, relayed an entirely fictitious account about threatening text messages that he sent to his Chinese business partner. Remember that one? I'm sitting here with my father, and you know him.
What Hunter Biden lied about, number one, he lied that he had any association with one of his LLCs called Rosemont Seneca Bohai. Why would Hunter Biden lie about that lie? Because he was protecting Joe Biden. Joe Biden was the central figure in the family's influence peddling ring.
Hunter Biden, still in hot water. He's on trial in Delaware. Now he's facing a new criminal referral for felonies from Congress. That's Jim Jordan, James Comer, and the judiciary. Sent this letter formally over to Merrick Garland. And here is what they say, coming from the Congress of the United States of America. They say, hey, Honorable Merrick, honorable, and the Honorable David Weiss. David Weiss is the special counsel on the Hunter Biden case. Merrick Garland, the United States Attorney General. Here is what they get in the inbox, courtesy of some Republicans, saying that Hunter needs to be charged with a bunch of crimes. So let's see who signed off on this letter. You can see a ton of data there, but it's the three committees: Oversight and Accountability, Ways and Means, and the Judiciary. Jordan, Smith, and Comer all sending this over to Garland and the rest of them. Say it's here. All right, listen, Merrick. Oversight, Accountability, Judiciary, and Ways and Means are investigating whether we're going to be impeaching Joe, and specifically, we're investigating his role in influence peddling schemes that have generated over $18 million for the Biden crime family, and over $27 million to their business associates and friends of the Biden family members. Now, this figure of the 27 does not include an additional $8 million in loans, most of which have not been repaid, to Robert Hunter Biden and to James Brian Biden, the president's son and brother. In total, since 2014, the committees have accounted for over $35 million. Woo, that's a lot of super chats. Received by the Biden family members, their companies, their business associates, which includes financial transactions that they just call loans, and they just don't repay them. Despite much efforts, the committees have not identified legitimate services warranting $35 million. The amount of money the Bidens have got is concerning. Now, in furtherance of this impeachment inquiry, the Oversight Committee and the Judiciary, we've talked to a lot of people, multiple witnesses investigating these business dealings. We know a ton of Biden family associates. We know Biden family members themselves, and we know Hunter Biden and James. On February 21st of this year, we conducted transcribed interviews with James Biden, who was there with his lawyer. Then in February on 28th, we also talked with Hunter Biden. He also testified under oath. He was also there with his lawyer. And so now, after having talked to these two Bidens, the committee attaches this letter, a referral for criminal charges against Hunter and James Biden. Official criminal referrals for the Biden family members, Hunter and James, one for false statements and additionally for Hunter for perjury, lying to Congress. As the referral shows, Hunter and James made provably false statements to our committees to try to impede our impeachment inquiry. This is a conscious effort to do so. Here's the lie. Specifically, Hunter Biden falsely distanced himself from a corporate entity called Rosemont Seneca Bohai and its bank account that was the recipient of millions of dollars from foreign individuals and foreign entities. They met with VP Joe before they sent money, and then they transferred the money to Hunter. So Hunter, I don't know anything about that. Hunter made false statements as to whether he held positions at Rosemont Seneca Bohai. After deposing Hunter, the committee's got additional documents showing Hunter represented that he was the corporate secretary. Oops. Additionally, Hunter, during his testimony, relayed an entirely fictitious account about threatening text messages that he sent to his Chinese business partner. Remember that one? I'm sitting here with my father, and you know him. Hunter Biden told the Oversight Committee he had transmitted this threat to an unrelated individual with the same surname. You got the wrong guy, just same name. However, documents released demonstrably conclude that Hunter made this threat to the person we thought he was making it to. And then they wired him millions of dollars after the threat. So no, I was threatening somebody else. It's not the same guy. A portion of the proceeds have gone right back to Joe Biden's bank account. Isn't that fun? So with respect to James Biden, the brother, he stated unequivocally during his transcribed interview that Joe Biden did not meet with Mr. Tony Bobulinski, who they tried to smear when he blew the whistle on this back in 2020, a business associate of James and Hunter Biden. Specifically, James stated that he did not attend a meeting with Joe, Hunter, and Tony, but those statements were contradicted, not only by Bobulinski, but also by Hunter, who says you were there. Bobulinski also produced text messages that established the events leading up to and immediately following his meeting with Joe. Hunter and James also made materially false statements to the Oversight Committee and the Judiciary Committee, as demonstrated by the evidence that we've attached here. The nature of these statements is not lost on these committees. Every instance implicates Joe Biden's knowledge and his role in the family's influence peddling. Hunter denying he was working with Rosemont obfuscates the account, to which foreign individuals who met with Joe transmitted the funds. Similarly, Hunter, creating from whole cloth a fiction in which he transmitted a threat to the wrong individual, appears to be an attempt to hide the fact that he's invoking Joe Biden and coercing his Chinese partners to pay him. It also calls into doubt Hunter and other testimony, such as his contention that his father was not in fact sitting with him when he transmitted the message. Biden's denial that Joe Biden's meeting with James, Hunter, and Biden took place, despite there being ample evidence that he did. It is a clumsy attempt to protect Joe, but he did meet with these people. Hunter and James provided false testimony to the Oversight Committee and the Judiciary Committee. It was conscious, it was calculated, and they did it to insulate Joe Biden. And so our committees have now been the victims of crimes, recommend that both Hunter Biden and James Biden be charged with 18 U.S. Code Section 1001 for false statements and 1621 for Hunter for perjury, 2 new criminal charges. The Department of Justice should consider Hunter's prior alleged criminal activity when evaluating whether to charge him for the false statements described in the attached. And because Hunter was federally indicted in 2 different jurisdictions at the time of his depo, he was also subject to 2 federal court orders stating he could not commit any crimes while on supervised release. Wow, that's a great point. So when you're on release, you've been charged with a crime, they release you, they set release conditions. One of those release conditions is you don't commit new crimes. If you commit a new crime, they'll just take you into custody and they'll just say, well, we're not going to release you pending the outcome of your case because you just keep committing crimes. So Hunter committed a new crime, and ordinarily what happens if you're out on release and you commit a new crime, they revoke your release conditions. Oh no, you got to go back into custody. Thank you for your prompt attention to this matter. Sincerely, your friends in Congress, James Comer, Jim Jordan, and Jason Smith. So nice letter. Let's see. Here is the entire 60-page referral, which we'll post over at robertgovea.com, our website. You see, they're just giving us all these lists of the transactions that's been happening, more bank records. Here's one from Hunter, Rosemont Seneca Partners. Hunter is the beneficial owner of this, and there's his name, Robert Hunter Biden, signing the documents. So he tried to distance himself, but he clearly worked with them. And a lot more correspondence. James Comer will explain more of what's happening here when he showed up on Laura Ingram's show. Let's listen to see what Comer says.
In these criminal referrals, we backed them up with 60 pages of hard evidence. And if you look at the statements from Hunter Biden's lawyer and the Democrats in Congress, no one's disputing that they lied. So lying to Congress is very serious. What Hunter Biden lied about, number one, he lied that he had any association with one of his LLCs called Rosemont Seneca Bohai. This was the company that most of his Ukrainian money flowed through and his Kazakhstani money flowed through that he got the brand new Porsche, all while Joe Biden was vice president. He also lied about that WhatsApp message that he got from Zhao. He said it was another Zhao, but there was evidence that we submitted that showed this text message went on for a long period of time, and the next day he got a $100,000 wire, and a few days later he got a $5 million wire. This is the WhatsApp message where he said, "My father is sitting beside me," when he was extorting the money from the Chinese national. Now, why would Hunter Biden lie about that, Laura? Because he was protecting Joe Biden. Joe Biden was the central figure in the family's influence peddling ring. We got Jim Biden for lying about his meeting with Tony Bobulinski. He said under oath he never met with Bobulinski. Bobulinski said under oath that they did meet, and he provided text messages to prove they met. And then Hunter Biden testified under oath that Tony Bobulinski met with Joe Biden. So we've got Jim Biden and Hunter Biden for lying. In both instances, they lied to protect Joe Biden, the big guy.
That's what they do. And the question is, will Merrick Garland do anything about it? Will David Weiss do anything about it? Or are they just going to say, no, this isn't actually a crime? We know other people who don't work with Congress, they get charged with crimes. People like Steve Bannon, who we're going to talk about next in our next video. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. We'll see you over there on that one, because Bannon is the subject of lawfare. Hunter can do whatever he wants to Congress, can show up and mock them. Bannon exerts executive privilege, and they prosecute him. Now they're going to send him to prison. So we'll talk about that in our next segment. We'll see you over there, my friends.